Welcome to Botany class. Let's move to the next chapter, classification of living world. Today's topic is classification of living world. In the previous chapter, we learned the planet Earth is endowed with living as well as non-living things. In our daily life, we are seeing so many living and non-living things around us. Here, you are going to learn the classification of living world. Just imagine you have a trip on the hill station. You are enjoying the beautiful mountains, dazzling colors of flowers, the melodious voice of birds, and you are capturing so many things around you. And now try to list out all those things you came across. When you classifying things, can you categorize the things, or are you going to place the mountains along with flowers, or you can categorize the things like trees and herbs, creepers, etc. And if you are categorized like this, what made you to categorize trees, huge plants and small herbaceous plants in certain categories? So why you are categorize this format? How you are list out the things? So classification is very essential. So this is one basic classification. We are categorizing the things in different classes. So that classification is essential, and it is classified based on the understanding and comparing of things based on certain characteristic features. So all the things here, the classification of living world. The living world, the living organisms are categorized into the understanding and the observations. What you observed among these characters, certain characteristic features, it differs. So based on the understanding and comparison of certain characteristic features, the things can be classified. So let's see how the organisms or the living world is classified. In the beginning, let's see in the past how the scientists classified the living organisms. At first, Theophrastus, who was the father of botany. So Theophrastus classified all the plants into three categories. They are trees, shrubs and herbs. What are trees? Large plants are known as trees. Medium sized plants are categorized into shrub, and very small plants are categorized into herbs. So Theophrastus classified all the plants into three groups. They are trees, shrubs and herbs. Then Aristotle classified all the animals into two groups. They are Anaema and Anaema. So Anaema, which includes all the red blood, the animals with red blood organisms are categorized into Anaema, and Anaema, there is lack of red blood. So certain organisms which possess red blood, certain without red blood. So he based on this classification and divided into two different groups. Then Carolus Linnaeus, he classified all the living organisms into two. The plants are grouped together one category, and all the animals are grouped under another category. So plants and animals. Carolus Linnaeus classified the living organisms into two, the plants in one and the animals in another. What's the need of classification? Is it necessary? What's the need of classification? The classification helps to relate the things. If you are classifying the trees, here there is a classification. All the plants are classified into trees, shrubs and herbs. So it relates the things and it defines the organisms. We can easily define the organisms and the relationships. We can maintain the relationship among the organisms very easily based on these classifications. Then it leads to evolutionary relationship. So these are the need for classification. Now there are several classification proposed by several scientists. So during this course of time, the scientists are compelled to analyze certain areas also, like anatomy, cytology, phylogeny, so many categorizes. They can elaborate this classification. Few classification you are going to study in this chapter. So mainly in this chapter you are going to concentrate the classification of living world. Here there are several classification in the past. The first, there is a classification, two kingdom system of classification. Two kingdom system of classification proposed by Carolus Linnaeus. He studied all the organisms and categorized into two all the plants under one category, that is kingdom Plantae, and all the animals are grouped in another called as kingdom Animalia. So Carolus Linnaeus classified in the year 1735. In the year 1735, Carolus Linnaeus classified two kingdom system of classification. His classification is named as two kingdom system of classification because there are two classification, kingdom Plantae and kingdom Animalia. Then three kingdom system of classification. In three kingdom system of classification, which was proposed by Ernst Haeckel. Ernst Haeckel classified the living world into three kingdoms in the year 1866. How he classified? In addition to Plantae and Animalia, one more classification he proposed, that is Protista. So kingdom Protista, Plantae and Animalia. So it is called as three kingdom system of classification. Then there is a elaborate study of classification, four kingdoms. So first two kingdom system of classification, then three kingdom system of classification, then four kingdom system of classification. Four kingdom system of classification was proposed by Copeland in the year 1956. Copeland proposed four kingdom system of classification where there are four kingdoms, that is kingdom Monera, Protista and Animalia. So kingdom Monera, Protista, Plantae and Animalia. In addition to this Plantae and Animalia, Protista, Plantae and Animalia, one more classification is given, that is Monera. In addition, Monera is there. So Copeland in the year 1956 proposed a four kingdom system of classification. Next classification is five kingdom. So at first there is two kingdom, then three kingdom, four kingdom. Now five kingdom system of classification proposed by R.H. Whittaker in the year 1969. 1969, R.H. Whittaker classified the organisms into five kingdoms. They are kingdom Monera, kingdom Protista, kingdom Fungi, Plantae and Animalia. When you look into this all classification, there is a merit in each and every classification. So from the beginning, there will be a little improvement in the classification of organisms. For example, in five kingdom system of classification, now Monera, Protista and Fungi. Fungi is considered. Fungus in one group because it shows other organisms, other plants and fungi, there is a difference. because the fungus which lacks chlorophyll, which is considered and it is classified into separate classification. So, kingdom Monera, Protista, Fungi, Plantae and Animalia. Now, so this 5 kingdom system of classifications. Later, Carl Woese in the year 1990, he gives a 3 domains. All these organisms are grouped under 3 domains. They are bacteria, archaea and eukarya. Bacteria in one group, then archaea and eukarya in another group. So, it is considered as 3 domains. Then this is a 5 kingdom system of classification, 6 kingdom and 7 kingdom also. Recent classifications, there are 6 kingdom classification given by Thomas Cavalier. Thomas Cavalier in the year 1998. So, he proposed the 6 kingdom classification. So, in the 6 kingdom classification, here 5 kingdom, all the 5 groups are there, Monera, Protista, Fungi, Plantae and Animalia. In the 6 kingdom classification, this Monera is branched into 2. Monera is classified into 2 groups, Archaebacteria and Eubacteria. Archaebacteria and Eubacteria. And then Protista, Fungi, Plantae, Animalia is there. First group Monera, which is classified into 2 different categories. Then 7 kingdom. 7 kingdom classification was proposed by Ruggiero et al. In the year 2015. 2015, 7 kingdom classification was proposed. In 7 kingdom of classification, there are 2 super kingdoms. All the organisms are grouped under 2 super kingdoms. They are Prokaryota and Eukaryota. Prokaryota and Eukaryota. Then Prokaryota, which is again classified into Archaebacteria and Eubacteria. Prokaryotic organisms Prokaryota are grouped under 2, Archaebacteria and Eubacteria. Then this Eukaryota, all the eukaryotic organisms which is classified into Protozoa, Chromista, Fungi, Plantae and Animalia. So, there is a separation of fungus, there is a separation of plants, animals as well as Chromista. Chromista, which includes all the algae, basically which is classified by the presence of chlorophyll A and chlorophyll C. And there are some colorless forms of organisms. They are examples, certain examples of this is diatom, brown algae and oomycetes. All these are classified under 7 kingdom system. So, when you look into look a glance of these classifications, when you observe this classification, there is an improvement in the 5 kingdom system classification, because R.H. Whittaker classified the organisms based on the cellular structure. He based on the cellular structure, that means the complexity of cell and thallus organization and nutrition, reproduction and evolution. So, based on this cellular structure, thallus organization, nutrition and reproduction, he categorized into 5 different kingdoms. So, this is the merit of 5 kingdom system of classification. There is a 3-mark question. What is the merit of 5 kingdom system of classification? So, Whittaker classified, he considered so many categorizes. He categorized the organisms into cellular structure based on the cellular development, structure of cellular pattern, thallus organization, mode of nutrition, mode of reproduction and the phylogeny. Everything he considered and grouped under several 5 kingdoms. and certain demerits also. So, demerits here all the Monera which possess all the organisms which presence of cell wall and absence of cell wall also including under this, and the autotrophic and heterotrophic organisms also grouped together under Monera. So, this is the demerit of 5 kingdom system of classification. So, today's question, you are going to learn these all types of classification from the beginning. It starts from Theophrastus, then Aristotle, Carolus Linnaeus, then need of classification, merits of 5 kingdom system of classification, demerits of 5 kingdom system of classification, and you learn all the types of classification, that is 2 kingdom system, 3 kingdom system of classification, 4 kingdom system of classification, 5 kingdom system of classification, then Carl Woos classification, 6 kingdom system of classification, and 7 kingdom system of classification. Learn all these names. Here you are going to learn all the names, classification, because it is a classification, how the organisms are classified, named them and grouped into several forms. Who proposed this is one word question. Before the next class, learn all these questions. Thank you.